Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. We're talking all about WrestleMania 35. And as you can see, there is sunlight outside. So basically, I did not make my WrestleMania 35 review. Pretty much the way I've done every single WrestleMania review in the past. Or any other pay-per-view review, basically the night of, exactly right after WrestleMania has come to a close. Here's the WrestleMania 35 confessions. I fell asleep during the show, and I made jokes a lot during the fact that I thought I was going to need a nap in order to get through WrestleMania. I was feeling good. I got home from work at 4 o'clock. I started watching the show, honestly, about 4:30. I did miss the whole pre-show. I actually missed the opening match. I was very surprised. Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar was the main event. Seth Rollins ended up winning the championship. That was no surprise. In my opinion, I thought the best opener of the show was going to be Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. And as you can see, that match was probably one of the last things on the show that people really were into. I think that really would have been a really good opener, but then again, I don't know what would have been good for a 10th match on the card later on down the road. So I did not see Tony Nese beat Buddy Murphy. I honestly probably would have been surprised, but I've never watched 205 Live. Carmella winning the Women's Battle Royal was a surprise to me, seeing how she basically is slotted on the card, which she is a fan favorite, but being with R-Truth. Hawkins and Ryder won the tag team titles. That really wasn't a big surprise. It was just kind of a surprise that they got added to actual WrestleMania. It's one of those things they could have put up on Monday Night Raw, and it possibly would have got a bigger, pop or feeling from the New York crowd there. Might not have been as memorable, but honestly, when it comes down to it, I don't think many people are going to be remembering WrestleMania 35 as the event where Ryder and Hawkins won the WWE Monday Night Raw Tag Team titles. Strowman won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and that kind of was a surprise to me. He was the most obvious, easy pick. He was one of the only guys that was really being highlighted of the guys that were named for it, and he had the storyline being built up with the Saturday Night Live guys, but that was one of the reasons why I honestly thought that he was going to lose. This is where I join WrestleMania. The match that I actually fell asleep was during the main event. When I woke up this morning, honestly, the last thing that I could remember was the preparation for Becky Lynch's entrance. I kind of remember her music playing. I don't really remember actually seeing her, but I do remember the spot where Ronda Rousey was sort of tangled up in the ropes, and I think she got kicked by Becky Lynch, and she landed on her head outside of the ring, and it really looked like it was a pretty hard bump for her to take. So I know I did see a little bit of the main event. I just didn't get to see the championship coronation of her holding the championship and actually getting the win. AJ Styles and Randy Orton, in my opinion, was a really good match. I don't know what I was really expecting, but I really was expecting something more that was really going to grab my attention. Randy Orton is probably one of my most least favorite wrestlers in WWE. That's, I guess you can say, a main event guy. But he has really had matches against Rey Mysterio, against Kane at WrestleMania that have really made me stand up and take notice and be like, damn, this guy really can work. It's just, he bores the crap out of me, and it just kind of seems like every single one of his matches are really the same. The Usos were able to defend their SmackDown tag titles in a fatal four-way where they outed Aleister Black with Ricochet, Rusev, Shinsuke Nakamura, and The Bar. The Bar really came off like superstars. Aleister Black and Ricochet got time to shine. I was sort of glad that they didn't win the tag titles because I don't want to see them get narrowed down because I don't really even think of them as being tag team guys. It is a way to get them shine and put onto the main roster. It's kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised what role Johnny Gargano would have played on WrestleMania. Would he have been in this match? If we did not have Tommaso Ciampa injury, they were being heavily featured as a tag team, or maybe when they were getting ready for their NXT match, they would have just sort of killed their Monday Night Raw push and not had them featured on WrestleMania after the big match they would have had on the NXT TakeOver. But Shane McMahon versus The Miz was a pretty good match. The Miz got busted open. Honestly, The Miz's dad is what's going to be remembered more than anything else. Shane gets the fluke victory where they went down through the crash pad and he just happened to be the guy who landed on top when they were both passed out. So The Miz wasn't able to kick out. I'm thinking of the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they don't even have any of those. The Money in the Bank is coming soon, guys. Then we had the Iconics. I thought they were the best tag team that were in this. I can't honestly tell you that I own every Iconic t-shirt and I put braids in my hair and cheer for Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. But what I will tell you is that I do like this team, and I've always sort of rooted for them to get their comeuppance here on SmackDown, and I was sort of surprised that it took this long. Them getting a win at WrestleMania, I think, is going to be a really big kick in the pants for this team, and hopefully they can go on a pretty good run with these titles that they're going to be taking to NXT, SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, and defending them against everybody that's out there. That was the one good thing that I thought of Sasha and Bayley. Was the tag team belts being featured on NXT and being able to have stars like Bayley and Sasha Banks, even though you take away their tag team title run, doesn't really receive the biggest push in the company. I think would have been a really cool way to keep NXT going and giving them a boost. But basically, I think anybody going back to that brand is going to help them. Kofi Kingston got the win over Daniel Bryan. I can honestly tell from watching the match, I really thought that Kofi Kingston was going to win the match. But I didn't really have the feel that I did watching the Elimination Chamber. When I was watching the Elimination Chamber, I thought, there's no way in the world Kofi Kingston is going to win this match and win a WWE Championship. He wasn't even supposed to be in it. But as, he kept going and kept going, just thinking this might actually really happen, and actually rooting for the guy that I didn't pick to get the win. But, I just sort of had in the back of my mind, I thought Kofi was going to win, and I thought, Big E brought that box out, which I never really got to see because I guess I went out of the room when Kofi got the win and forgot what the surprise was going to be, but everybody was wearing new t-shirts, so I'm guessing that that was the surprise that he brought to the ring. But I thought basically him showing him the box and saying, this is for after the match, this is your surprise, this is for you. I really thought that was where Big E Langston and Xavier Woods was going to put the screws to Kofi, and that's where they were going to screw him. They were going to sort of hit him with that $1 million briefcase, if you can remember back in the days of IRS, having the brick in there. I don't know what I thought was going to be in that present, but I thought it was going to be something. Maybe a pancake filled with lead filling. That's what it would have been, and they would have knocked him out with the pancake. Sorry about this gonorrhea I got, guys. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. Nothing much to that match. Roman beating Drew McIntyre. After the end of that match, I was really pissed, guys. I was mad. I thought with Rollins winning the championship, McIntyre would have been a really good number one contender, where he basically is able to say that he defeated Reigns, he defeated Rollins, he defeated Ambrose, all within the last month. He is the guy that ended the Shield. He is the guy who killed him, and now he's coming after Rollins' championship, the guy he's already beat once. But instead, Roman beat him. And I guess it's just one of those things where everybody's going to go home happy, and it is what it is. But, Roman gets the win here at WrestleMania. Triple H defeated Batista. Very, very good match. Honestly, it was a little bit long, even though it was the main event. It was the match that I was honestly really looking forward to. really proud of both of those dudes to be able to go out there and deliver that kind of a match. Pretty cool to see Triple H waving those channel locks around, and the spot where he reached down and grabbed Batista's nose ring and ripped it out. Pretty cool to see them actually able to pull that off. Batista, see you next year in Tampa for the Hall of Fame. I would love to be watching your speech. And on a side note, that Hall of Fame setup inside of the arena, with them actually giving their presentations in the ring, really, really cool. And probably a lot easier on the guys in the company that have to set up the stages. In the past, being able to set up for the Hall of Fame and then having to tear all of that down to basically build a new set, and actually just being able to build one set for NXT, Hall of Fame, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, basically just changing out the aprons, changing out the ropes. Pretty smart for WWE. Baron Corbin defeating Kurt Angle. I have no idea what that was. I was thinking that Angle was going to have a match against AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Sting, John Cena. Anybody like that, I was fine with Kurt Angle taking the loss and thinking that was a good way for him to ride off into the sunset. But losing to Baron Corbin, I was really surprised when they were reading off Baron Corbin's, I guess you can say, career highlights. Like they were reading down his Wikipedia page as the guy who, won the Money in the Bank and won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And I'm sure he's been some kind of champion in the company, Intercontinental US, something like that. I know he hasn't had one of the main belts, but to add one more accomplishment of being the guy to beat Kurt Angle, to me, this is go home heat. This is not good. It's not like I'm going to hate this guy more, which is going to produce me watching more Baron Corbin matches to see this guy get his ass kicked. He defeated Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. Yeah, it was kind of a fluke victory. At the same time, it was kind of, he just beat him. But who wants to bet that within a month, Baron Corbin loses a match that nobody cares about on Monday Night Raw? That's honestly what I think is going to happen. Finn Balor defeated Bobby Lashley with the help of the Demon. No real surprise there. It wasn't a long match, but it honestly probably could have been shorter. Hopefully, with that cool entrance that we saw with Finn Balor bringing the Demon for the first time to WrestleMania, hopefully we start seeing the Demon more. It's been a long time since we've seen him. And in the main event, Becky Lynch defeating Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. Charlotte getting the WrestleMania entrance via helicopter. Very, very cool. The Ronda Rousey entrance using Joan Jett. I'll tell you the truth. I think I like it more when they just play the basic CD. I know that Joan Jett is an aging rock star who still tours and everything like that. But being able to crank the volume up on the 80s Joan Jett, I'm guessing, to me, honestly, is a lot better. But Becky getting the win here, guys. First ever WrestleMania main event for the women. We'll have to see how they're going to be able to, regain that success to get to a point where they can do it again. Because it's not like they really just did this just to do it. They really did deserve it. So we'll see what comes to be with the women's division and Monday Night Raw and SmackDown leading up to WrestleMania 36. Good Mania, guys. Not the best. I don't even honestly think there's anything on here I'll ever watch again. I mean, it'll take a lot for me to watch anything on WrestleMania 35 for a second viewing.